Good evening and welcome to the Club World Cup live on LFS this evening as we kick off match day 3 action of the group stages of the competition. Over the next 4 nights we will focus on 4 different groups from the Club World Cup and bring you the conclusion to those groups over the next 4 nights. Looking forward to it. And tonight we start with a very closely contested group where all four of the teams, shall I say, could still progress theoretically. Although it is almost impossible for the Seattle Sounders to do so, there is massive chances for PSG, Atletico Madrid, and obviously the league leaders, the title leaders, Botafogo, who sit top of the table heading into this evening's game. Our focus game tonight is Atletico against Botafogo, but of course we'll keep up to date with the game between Seattle Sounders and PSG. Overnight, though, we had some interesting action for you, which we can recap for you. Manchester City's massive result over Al Ain, 6-0 winners in that one in Group G. Ilkay Gundogan opened the scoring. Echeverri made it 2. A penalty from Erling Haaland at the end of the first half made it 3-0 to City. It was 4 when Gundogan had his second of the game. Oscar Bob added a 5th in the 84th minute, and in the 1 minute before the 90th, Ryan Cherky, the new signing, opened his first and got his first ever Manchester City goal to make it 6-0 for Manchester City. They dominated all the stats, as you can see, and they are massively they are already through along with Juventus, which means they will be battling on Thursday night for top spots. So we'll see how that one turns out. But for tonight, as I said, it's Atletico Madrid and Botafogo that is our focus tonight. An Atletico Madrid side who were thrashed 4-0 by PSG on match day 1. They responded with a 3-1 win over the Seattle Sounders. But now Botafogo, probably their toughest test of the group, if I'm honest, because Botafogo did beat PSG last time out. They got them top of the table, and that is where they are at this moment in time. As the players, as we expect and as we normally see, coming out from the tunnel one by one. And this is a moment in this group and in this tournament that is crucial. Could Botafogo, if they avoid defeat tonight, they will be through to the round of 16. And PSG will need to beat Seattle Sounders. As long as they don't lose tonight, Botafogo, they can lose and still go through. If they lose by a certain number of goals, and goal difference could come into it. But we'll keep you up to date with all of that. Don't worry about that. But as I was saying, as long as Botafogo don't lose, they will claim top spot in this group, because even with a draw, PSG wouldn't be able to catch them. So it is looking bright for Botafogo. I said about the South American teams have looked really impressive in this competition so far. And this one, Botafogo, the pick of the bunch at this moment in time, as the players out on the field then for this one, ready for kickoff. Great to have you all with us in the chat. Welcome in at the names map. Thank you very much, Saeed. Thank you very much. Welcome in to the chat as well. Great to have you all with us for this one. So the Botafogo players are still coming out, but let's bring you the team news for this one this evening, starting with Atletico Madrid. Jan Oblak starts in goal, and he captains Atletico Madrid in goal. Back 4 of Marcus Llorente, Robin Lenormand, Clement Longley, and the left back, of course, Javi Galan. In midfield, Rodrigo de Paul and Barrios, who's been hitting the goals recently, Pablo Barrios. Either side of those two in midfield is Simeone on the right and Conor Gallagher on the left. And the front two of Atletico, Alexander Sorloth alongside Julian Alvarez. On the bench for Atletico this evening, Gomez, Musso, Azpilicueta, Costas, Mandava, Molina, Witzel, Koke, Lemar, Lino, Riquelme, Serrano, Correa, Griezmann and Martin. For Botafogo, they know if they remain unbeaten in this group, they are heading to the knockouts and top of the group. They start with John in goal. A back 4 of Vitinho, Jair, Barbosa and Alex Tellez, of course. In midfield, Gregori, Alan and Freitas, who is the captain, and a front 3 of Artur on the right-hand side, Savarino on the left, and Igor Jesus, their star man from that PSG victory. He leads the line at the number 99 for Botafogo tonight. And their bench, as you can see there. Great to have you all with us at the moment. Players are out on the pitch already. They did their little handshake, the players. The VAR to this evening, Guillermo Pacheco from Mexico. And our referee this evening is from Mexico as well. Cesar Ramos Palazuelos is our referee. Great to have you with us. We have a big game tonight in this big group in Group B, as you can see. Seattle Sounders, PSG, Atletico Madrid, Botafogo. Which of these two teams will be heading to the knockouts? We'll find out. Kickoff is next. Good evening and welcome. A little change to our format at our look of the screen this evening. We decided to take the match map and go, let's minimise it. So the match map on the bottom left corner, as you can see there, that is for the Seattle PSG game. We've no match map for this game, but you don't really need it. You've got my commentary and we've got other important information on the screen. The score from the other game, the live table, so you can see who's taking those top two spots at any given point, and of course the previous results in the group as well on your screen. The names map is the Forsaken Guy. Great to have you with us again. I am reading comments side. Kolya says hi, welcome in Kolya. Great to have you with us. The stadium is pretty empty. Well, the Rose Bowl is, I believe, the biggest stadium in the competition. It's around 80-odd thousand. It is 80,000 or so, the Rose Bowl, so it is very big. I don't expect the stadium to be full to the rafters, but it is, as you say, not the busiest stadium, but it's not too bad, considering some of the games in this tournament weren't anywhere near good enough. They may as well have played it in front of a community hall. You would have got it filled. Welcome in, Stan. Great to have you with us. As we have that countdown on the screen inside the Rose Bowl. We're ready to go then here in this one. In Group B, we get underway in what is going to be a huge night of action to see which of two of these four teams in this group will be heading to the knockout stages and the round of 16 in this competition. Botafogo will be on cloud 9 after that victory over the European champions on match day 2 in PSG. Can they make it another European scalping tonight? In this one, we will see this evening. And of course, I mean, we expect, Atletico have vast amounts of talent, but at the same time, so did PSG. So it makes it more intriguing, the fact that, yes, you can have all this talent and all these great players on the field, but Botafogo had their game plan for that PSG game, and it worked to perfection for them, basically. And what more can you ask from them? As Atletico trying to get some possession down the right side, but that ball from Sorlot going all the way through and out for a goal kick. So as it stands then, because the table hasn't updated yet for the moment, but when it does, we can show you what happens and what it means. So as it stands, before the kick-off this evening, Botafogo will have that top spot. 6 points out of a possible 6 for them. They come into this one, as I said, knowing that anything other than a defeat would see them through top of the group. If they lose, they can still go through, but it all depends upon goal difference and all of that. And Atletico need to win by 3 goals or more to qualify if PSG also win. So it's a bit complicated for Atletico, so we'll keep an eye on that other game as well. Here's Botafogo down the right with Artur, trying to have an early chance. Artur trying to roll it through, and it had to be Marcus Llorente. Had to get involved there and put that away from danger. It's a lovely fed through ball by Artur from that right-hand side for Botafogo when he tried to find the opposing winger in Savarino on that left-hand side, and it was well cut out by Marcus Llorente for Atleti. Bardoza back across to Jair, and now Vitinho. Artur now, closed out by Galan down that side for Botafogo. Well, there's Renato Paiva, the head coach. That could be leading Botafogo to the knockout stages of this competition. It was really nice to see. Whenever Botafogo did beat PSG, it was like the whole of South America, all the South American fans came together as one to kind of celebrate it and support Botafogo in their success. I mean, it is a massive success for any side to beat the European champions, but in the way that they did it was just so impressive. And then the goal from Igor Jesus that got them the victory. Quite incredible. Here's Artur again, looking for Vitinho on the overlap here. Botafogo starting confidently. They're playing in white, all white this afternoon. Atletico in their normal strip of red and white shirts with blue shorts, as expected. And the match map in the bottom corner here, if you can see my finger pointing to it, the match map in the bottom left corner of your screen is the match map for the other game, so you can see kind of which way it's going in that one. Seattle going from left to right, so Seattle are attacking from left to right, PSG attacking from right to left, from where you can see it. As Botafogo try to work it into the box. Again, they can't keep the ball at the minute, Atleti. Longley was dispossessed, but a little bit of a mix-up in the possession there. And here's De Paul. Finding Marcus Llorente for Atleti. Rodrigo De Paul. Well, it's a little strange that the table hasn't updated. If it doesn't update, we do apologise, but we will try and update it as best as we can for you. And if we can't, then we have a backup anyway, so don't worry about that. But it isn't updating at the moment, which we'll have to keep an eye on at the moment. So do apologise about that, but we will try and resolve that issue. At the moment, there's nothing really to worry about. Nothing's changed in that front. Just add a point to everybody on that right-hand side. Nothing's changed at this rate. This is the interesting fact. Atleti are in this position, you know, needing a big win tonight, because PSG, you would expect to beat the Seattle Sounders. No disrespect to Seattle Sounders. They're at home, of course, to their home stadium at Lumen Field in their home city. But, you know, they would expect them to beat PSG. So that means Atleti need to win by 3 goals here tonight. And the way they've started, Botafogo have come out with some confidence. Down that right-hand side again with Vitinho. Artur works it back into midfield. Having a lot of the early possession here, our Botafogo. A lot of the early ball. Ball played down the right-hand side. And that was well held out, but it's going to be a throw to Botafogo. Conor Gallagher thought he'd won Atleti the throw there, but the throw-in went the way of the South Americans. Trying to combine it nicely through the lines. Good combinations, and the ball fed out wide here onto the left-hand side. Alex Tellez with a cross, and having to lift it away was Lenormand. One back well, and the shot taken by the number 20 there, Barbosa. And it's bounced back out for Atleti now, who are trying to break away. Sorloth trying to feed it through. Just a little short from Atleti there. Yeah, Botafogo committed bodies forward, and Atleti then had the man advantage on the counter-attack, but through ball there. Combining. It was Simeone trying to find it through for Alexander Sorloth, but the ball just didn't quite find a way through the defenders of Botafogo that were back and defending. Here is Simeone. De Paul. Barrios. Out wide to Simeone. Llorente. Simeone again down that right side, but well challenged by Barbosa. He works it well and feeds it forward. And that's going to be a foul. A little push in the back of Igor Jesus there. And that's a free kick to Botafogo. Yes, indeed, stands. They need to win by 3 goals at Atleti, but that is only if PSG win. If it ends in a draw between PSG and Seattle Sounders, then Atleti still need to win, but don't need to win by as much. Obviously, they don't need to win by anything in particular. They just need to win at that stage. And Botafogo would still go through if PSG were to draw, because they would still have more points than them. So there is a world in which both of these two teams we're watching could go through, but they would need PSG not to win for that to be the case in any scenario. Could it be that Atleti be the one on the chopping block? And the big shock, you know, we expected PSG and Atleti to progress from this group. That was the expectation coming into it. But as I said before, the South American sides have not caught us by surprise, but impressed in the way that they've played in the competition so far. And impressed in a way that they're in real chance of upsetting some European teams. And, you know, that's the way the situation Atleti find themselves in tonight, needing a big result. And that's some pressure to be heading into match day 3, needing a big result, if what you expect will happen elsewhere. That's a lovely through ball, and here Botafogo are in here. They have a chance to take the lead, and it's a through ball. Oh, good save by Jan Oblak. He had to make it. There was a breakaway from Botafogo, and the space was there, and Atleti were at mercy there of the Botafogo attack. And they were lucky that they weren't overcome on that occasion. They try and work it into the box with Simeone. And Llorente again, but hasn't quite worked out on that occasion. They've worked it back now. Now Alvarez trying to cross it, but the bobbling ball easily caught by the Botafogo keeper, John. Love that. Keeping it simple. Just John. Very simple. This table is really annoying me, by the way. You know, we have a live table, and it's not live. It's not working. It's a bit annoying. I'll try and sort this out for you. Because you want to be able to track things, and if and when things happen, goals are scored and moments come about, you want to be able to see what that means for the table. Barrios trying to lift it over the top for Sorlot. Does. Take control of it. Works it out wide though. Forced out wide as he tries to work it through the lines, and I think I might have took a deflection as he tried to cross. Look at this opportunity again for Botafogo earlier. Very good save by Jan Oblak, but what a chance for Jefferson Savarino to try and give them the lead. Very good save by Jan Oblak, but what an opportunity. That's what we reverted to, another table to bring you there. There's the live table. We'll try and see if that works for you, but it's the best as we can get it at the moment. Apologies about that. So, corner here for Atleti. Left-hand side, gone low, round the corner. It's taken down. The shot by De Paul was charged down. And then Sorlot tried to follow it up, but there was an offside or a free kick in there. And the referee has stopped the game. So, there is the live table. As I said, nothing's happened, so there's no major worries about the table at the minute, but we want to make sure that you've got as good a view of it as possible. So the top two head through. That's the way it is in this group. That's in every group, obviously. And as it stands, it will be Botafogo and PSG that will be heading through. Atleti, if PSG win, Atleti need to win by at least 3 goals to knock out Botafogo on goal difference. If PSG fail to win, then Atleti need to win by any margin to go through. If Seattle Sounders win, then we're in really tasty territory. And it will be really interesting. If Botafogo and Seattle Sounders win, Botafogo will be on 9 points. Seattle Sounders will be on 3 points, along with PSG and Atleti. And it would be all come down to goal difference at that stage. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's what could happen. And we'll let you know if and when that could be the case. DePaul trying to lift it forward. Sorloth got a little touch on it, but again, stolen away from Gallagher, who slipped as he tried to enter the box. And now it's chipped over the top for Jesus to chase. And a fabulous first touch. And he's broke free, but it was Jan Oblak again, closing it down and denying Botafogo that chance with Igor Jesus to try and have a good effort on goal. Again, that long ball over the top is a threat. And the space in behind is there for Botafogo to try and impose themselves upon. Excuse me. Nice little take in the midfield there from Grigor. And now he's on the break, and Alan now out to the left-hand side for Savarino. Swings it round the corner. That's a lovely little move. And here's the shot deflected. Oh, and taken wide. Jan Oblak was committed, but that was always going wide. It will be a corner. That was a decent opportunity again for Botafogo. Again, lovely little swing ball. Gallagher tried to reach for it, couldn't find it. It was Artur in the little inside pocket, and he had the effort struck, deflected, and it takes it behind for the corner. My match is behind. Pause the stream. So pause the live and link it up with your stream so that we're on the same page. So that you're not kind of getting any spoilers from this stream. Corner delivered in. Headed away by Sorloth. Turned into a bit of a defender there. Alexander Sorloth. They reverse it round the corner here, Botafogo. Chance down the right-hand side. Ball lifted into the box. Barbosa with a header. Back across goal. Shot could really get the shot off there, the attackers. And now Atleti want to try and spring a counter down this left side. Simeone through down the left-hand side. Swings it back across, and Alvarez there to nip it away from Alan. And he was caught on the way through there, Julian Alvarez, and that's going to be a free kick to Atletico Madrid. He just skipped round the midfielder and slightly caught him. That is a foul on Julian Alvarez. All sorted. That should be fine for you. Hopefully. Usually I'm the one that's behind. But we've got good coverage of the game tonight. We're right on time. Can't guarantee that all the time, but we try and get it as best as we can, as often as we can. But it's the way the UK kind of coverage of this tournament has been. Touch and go. Short free kick here by Atleti. They find a bit of space on the edge of the box. It was Gallagher that had the effort, but he just couldn't keep the shot down. He had all the time in the world, Conor Gallagher. He wanted a corner there. He felt there was a deflection, but not that I could see. Yeah, the ball works wide from Atleti, edge of the box, and then Gallagher receives it on the cutback. And then the effort was just flying over the bar. I mean, it's no deflection. Just a shot that he couldn't keep down, Conor Gallagher. Former Chelsea and Crystal Palace player. And those Botafogo fans are loving this, enjoying themselves at the moment. They set 8th in the Brasileiro Serie A to Botafogo. 5 wins from their 11 games so far this campaign. Actually, out of all the Brazilian sides in this competition, they are the lowest in the table. Back home, of course, Flamengo, Palmeiras and Fluminense all higher in the league table than them. It's going to be Javi Galan that was brought down there by Artur, who doesn't believe that was the case, but the assistant certainly did on that side. And he's given a free kick for Atleti there. Javi Galan was brought down. Yes, so just rewind it, and then the clock on the top left-hand side of your screen, as long as that match that up with your stream, and we'll be right on time for you. Welcome in, Zemas. Great to have you with us. Yes, I hope so too. I hope it's a great match as well, because we want some entertainment, we want some excitement. Of course, over the next 4 nights, we'll have 4 groups to kind of get our teeth into and see what sort of excitement will come from those groups. But, you know, it will be very entertaining, I would suspect, as Llorente went right over the top of his defender there. Botafogo back in possession. All the way back here from Jair. Back to John in the goal. Pumps it long. Over the head of Savarino that time. And that allows Atleti back on the ball. To Paul. Nice Simeone. Down the right hand side, just a tick on a man. He gets around him. In Savarino, and Simeone was then brought down that left hand side by Alex Tellez. The referee has something to deal with here. A little issue. Well, to be fair, Alex Tellez with a very good challenge there. Diego Simeone screaming at his players, as that was a drag from Robin Lenormand. That's another free kick, this time for Botafogo, as they tick quickly. Vitinho to Artur. Being held off by Javi Galan, and it's going to be another free kick. 20 minutes gone. It's been a bit stop-start this game. Neither side have really been able to get on top or get any real opportunity, other than probably the Botafogo chance one-on-one with Jan Oblak, as that was a little bit overzealous from Barbosa. He's given the ball away really sloppily there. Sorloth, Barbosa in the scene. Sorloth drops around him. Now Llorente, Alexander Sorloth lays it off to the edge of the box. Barrios will have an effort, but looped up and into the hands of John in the opposing goal. And Pablo Barrios seems to have had a good run of form, the 22-year-old, coming into this tournament. Got 2 goals in that 3-1 win over Seattle Sounders on match day 2. Actually, his first goal for Atleti since April came in that game, and then the 2-1 win over Sevilla back in April for Pablo Barrios. Here is Simeone. And to work it down the right-hand side, trying to link up with Alexander Sorloth, but again, that Botafogo defence down that side works out well and is able to seal off any sort of threat there. Well, we were kind of at risk of this being a little bit of a cagey affair because of how much is on the line. Botafogo maybe don't want to overcommit, to be a bit more vulnerable at the back, and Atleti are in this situation where they're trying to assert a bit of dominance but are not able to at the moment. First goal in this game will be crucial. As the Arab says, sorry I'm late, there were missile attacks near UAE, so I had to stay alert. No, don't worry. If it's all about your safety, take that into the consideration. Most certainly be the priority. Don't worry about being late or any of that. Do not worry whatsoever, Zaarab. Great to have you with us anyway, but do not worry. Your safety comes first 100% of the time, and I wish you well, and I hope you're okay. Hope all is all good. To Paul, takes this free kick short. Goes wide again to Galan, who will try and deliver it in, but again, too close. to the Botafogo keeper. They're working crosses into the box here at Atleti, but not really looking threatening at this moment in time. Just simple catches for John Victor, or John is what he likes to go by. For the Botafogo keeper, who just looks comfortable at catching them and doesn't really look too out of place. That other game between Seattle and PSG, it's a lot of PSG possession and a lot of PSG attacking at the moment, but no goal in that one between those two, still 0-0. So as it stands, it would still be Botafogo and PSG that will be heading to the knockouts, and Botafogo would finish top of the groups as it stands, which would mean they would play runners-up of Group A, which of course Group A is in the early hours of the morning in the UK to decide which of the two teams in that group will be heading through. And of course we'll recap that and look at back on that tomorrow evening in our second live stream. Here's Simeone. Again, lots of white shirts in his way as he tried to cross that one towards the box. Clearance falls to Marcus Llorente. And Atleti back on the ball. They've had a lot of the ball, Atleti, recently. They started with not much control whatsoever, and we're kind of on the back foot in the first 10-15 minutes, but they responded well, and this is a nice move into the box. It goes down, wanting a penalty. Just a goal kick. It was Rodrigo de Paul, or was it Julian Alvarez? The referee sees no issues and just calls for a goal kick, but Atleti wanting a penalty, and the referee taking no heed of them at this moment. We'll see it again. It's Alvarez, skips past the challenge, gets into the box, and then, yeah, it's not a foul. That's just slips as he breaks into the box there. Julian Alvarez stretching for the ball, and as he hits the ball, he catches it, and then loses his balance as he kind of stands on the ball a little bit. It's never a penalty. Well, we always talk about Atleti, and I think, you know, they're kind of the outsider in a lot of kind of moments. You know, in Spanish football, they're never really, I mean, they're in title races, but they're never really anywhere near the favourites, because you would always back Barcelona or Real Madrid to win the league. But you know, he's won the league twice with Atleti as Diego Simeone, so he's doing a very good job with them, and we know that. He's brought them to some great kind of, even a Champions League final and some great results over the years. But you know, coming into this competition, what was their expectation? Was their expectation to win it? Was their expectation to go deep in the competition and maybe quarter-final, semi-final stage? Well, at this minute, they sit going into match day 3 with needing a big result to even get out of the group stage, which would be a massive disappointment. You know, I think a lot of the European sides would feel that, you know, they should be at least competing for qualification to the knockouts. And Atleti will be one of those teams that will have thought, yeah, we have a good chance of getting through this group. They would have believed that they would have been up there with PSG, and I think that was the expectation of a lot of people, that they would just be heading through Atleti. But it's not always that easy, and we've seen the way this group has gone for them, that massive defeat to PSG has really kind of massively impacted them in the way this group's gone, because we didn't expect Botafogo to do as well as they did, but that's always a threat when you don't do as well as you possibly can in a group. They have a free kick here, Botafogo. Let's work towards the edge of the box, and that was an effort round the back. It was hitting the side netting in the end with Artur, but it was a decent delivery. It was a threat that Atleti had to be aware of. And in the end, Artur's effort just hit the side netting. And was, in the end, no real worry to Jan Oblak. Barbosa, nice challenge, winning the ball. It's worked out to the right-hand side now with Vitinho. Inside to Grigori, and now into the box from the cross from, not Artur, that was Artur trying to make that challenge, and you got catching one of the Atleti players there. It was a little bit extreme from Artur. It was Pablo Barrios that he caught. He was stretching for it. He got the ball. He didn't catch the man, to be fair, but could have been more risky. And look at Diego Simeone crying that it was a foul, but there wasn't much in it, if I'm honest. He did well there, Artur, but it looked more dangerous from the wide angle rather than the close replay. And you got a better look at it. Ball down the left-hand side here for Atleti. Barrios trying to help out, but losing the ball there in the midfield. And DePaul couldn't retrieve it, and now Botafogo are trying to brick on the move down the left-hand side here. Igor Jesus dragged wide. Tellez around the corner in the midfield. Nice combinations. They're working the ball nicely, Botafogo. That was Freitas there, the captain, that worked it nicely in between the lines. Just keeping the pressure and the tempo in the game, crucially. Keeping Atleti a little bit at bay with the way they're playing so far, Botafogo. 30 minutes gone, and just around about that. Atleti 0, Botafogo 0. Still goalless in the other game in this group, Seattle Sounders against PSG. At this moment, so as it stands, the two that started the day in the top two positions are the two that will be ending the group in the top two, and that is Botafogo and PSG. No change whatsoever at the moment. And the first goal will be telling as to maybe who gets it. That will be important. Oh, not the most confident from Robin Lenormand there against Igor Jesus, and scrambled to get it out of play as he was caught in possession almost by the centre forward. And it's a great scene, a great venue for sport, as we will have this cooling break at the Rose Bowl. And a chance for maybe Atleti to get a little bit of information on board from Diego Simeone, because I think at the moment they've just been a little bit hesitant at times and really haven't been able to assert the dominance they probably would have wanted to at this moment in time. (24 degrees Celsius in Pasadena, where the Rose Bowl is located. Not as hot as some of the other states that we've seen over the last few days, but still quite a interesting and heavy heat for those players to deal with, so they'll get their cooling and their hydration break for the moment. Well, it is so far Jefferson Savarino that's come the closest to scoring for Botafogo, with a one-on-one chance against Jan Oblak that was saved, but other than that, Atleti have really failed to make any clear-cut opportunities in front of goal. A lot of crosses from the wide areas that have been simply dealt with by the Botafogo goalkeeper. Other than that, barely any threat from Atleti, really. A lot of improvements still need to be made from the Spaniards. Don't forget as well, by the way, we have another set up for you tomorrow night. A European clash between Benfica and Bayern Munich. Tomorrow 8 o'clock in Group C, as that group concludes. And Bayern and Benfica, the top two in that group, heading into tomorrow's action. And we'll see if they can see their way through. Remember, Boca Juniors are the team trying to displace Benfica, but a big goal swing is needed. And we'll see if that progresses tomorrow. Benfica Bayern Munich is tomorrow at 8. Hope you can join us all week for all these games that we are keeping a very close eye on. back underway, but there's a Botafogo player down right away here, holding his head. Ooh, Marcus Llorente a little bit. He went over the ball and the studs were up there. And then it was Freitas. Marlon Freitas is the one that's down in real pain at the moment as he was caught. I don't think there was any malice or intent from Marcus Llorente, but certainly wasn't innocent. It was a little bit dangerous. Stan says PSG 85% possession in their game. Yeah, they're dominating that one, PSG, but at the moment haven't been able to find an opener. Remember, they're at mercy. If they don't win tonight, PSG, they're not safe either. They draw this game tonight, and Atleti win, and PSG will be going out. So it's not a foregone conclusion that PSG are heading through either. Marlon Freitas is going to be okay to continue here. As we do have an update from that game, just as we talked about at PSG and Seattle Sounders, we do have an update on our first goal of the night that we can confirm, and it has gone the way of the European champions. Paris Saint-Germain have taken the lead in that one against the Seattle Sounders. It is Seattle 0, PSG 1. And they've just found that in the last few seconds the net has been struck by Paris Saint-Germain. So it is 1-0 to PSG there with 10 minutes to go in the first half, which means not that they will take top spot, because as I said, as long as Botafogo aren't losing, they will sustain top spot. But if PSG now winning, as you can see, they move up to 6 points. They stay in second, but are now 2 points ahead of Atleti. And it was Caoimhan that opened the scoring for PSG. So they lead by a goal to 0 there in that one in Seattle at this moment in time. So how will Atleti need to respond? Well, they'll need to respond by trying to win by at least 3 goals here tonight. That is their task, with PSG winning. They have a throw in down this right hand side. Less than 10 minutes to go with the first half. Llorente with a long throw. Headed clear by the Botafogo defender Barbosa. Worked back out to Llorente again though. Now Gallagher on this right hand side for Atleti. Llorente, Barrios, now to Paul. Trying to lift it into the box. Sorlos header across, and it's fallen for Alvarez. He can't take the shot. It's deflected away from him, and now it's stolen away from DePaul by Igor Jesus. And Botafogo want to break here, but that through ball was well blocked by Pablo Barrios, who was responding and backtracking to secure any sort of threat. And Alvarez has stayed down here, holding his left leg. We'll see what the issue is there, but we'll see this moment again. DePaul's delivery headed across by Solo, and then it was Alvarez that was running in. Yeah, it was Barbosa that got the ball away before Alvarez could get to it. Yeah, it was a block by the number 25 there for Botafogo, Alan, and then it was the clearance by Barbosa. And Alvarez is down, receiving some treatment at the moment. So Caoimhan is the man to open the scoring in Seattle. It has PSG leading by a goal to 0, and we can tell you that table is now updating, so that's fantastic that we've made all those changes to our graphic on the right hand side of your screen, and the table is now updating. We can show you the live table in full screen. Group B, as you can see at the bottom there, Botafogo still lead with 7 points, PSG 6 points, 4 points for Atleti in third, and then Seattle Sounders with 0 at the moment. So that's the way the table looks at this moment in time. In Group B, so no change in positions, but in terms of what it means, there is a little change, as you can tell, because it means Atleti need to win by 3 goals, at least. Now, and there we go, that's it fixed. So a little bit of a better view of the table on the right-hand side of your screen now. As Alvarez is okay, he is continuing on, so it was just a little knock that he received, but he's okay, back to his feet. Now, as I said, Atleti's task is clear. You have to win, and win by a very good margin against the Botafogo side, who have played very well in this tournament. Conceded just 1 goal before tonight, and they want to try and score here. It's Alex Tellez down the left. Cross was cleared away, and there wasn't many in white in the box, really. It was a lot of Atleti defenders in there. They try and force a through ball. Not quite worked the first time. It's sprung back, and Simeone down this left-hand side now can try and make something count down the left channel. Finds the overlap of Galán. Has to work it back, though, into midfields. Barrios. De Paul. Lifting it into the box. Sorloth was looking, but coming and claiming was the goalkeeper, John. Ahead of Alexander Sorloth. Wasn't going to take that risk, and did very well. Commanded his area, the Botafogo goalkeeper, on that occasion. So he will kick it long. Brought down by Atleti, who are starting to control a lot more of the ball now. Seeing more of their in-possession play and trying to build with their defenders. Build out from the back. As I said, the first goal in this game will be crucial to what way the momentum will swing. You know, if Botafogo get the first goal, then it looks really tough for Atleti. But if Atleti get the first goal, you never know what could happen. That's a nice move down the left-hand side. Here's Simeone trying the early cross. John couldn't come and claim it. It's not the great clearance. Llorente keeps it alive, trying to thread it through. The shot! Oh, it's carried wide and forced wide by Julian Alvarez. Well, the effort. That was their best move of the game so far, Atleti. Simeone down the left side. He worked it into the box. John couldn't really come and claim it. It worked out to the right. Llorente kept it alive. The ball fizzed towards Julian Alvarez, who struck it on the half turn, but struck it right across goal and out the other end for a goal kick. That was a nice move from Atleti. Their best of the game, as I said. The chance not taken by Julian Alvarez on that occasion. Alvarez has some good recent performance against South American opponents. For his country, of course, scored the winner in a 1-0 victory in the World Cup qualifiers against Chile for Argentina before this competition. A 1-0 win for Argentina over Chile, and he scored the winner, Julian Alvarez, so he knows his way past the South Americans and has good response. Good recent history on that front. As the ball worked into the box again, John came and claimed. They couldn't really take control of it, and it's punched away. And now Botafogo on the break here as Atleti struggle to keep the ball. Savarino, loose and wasteful, as he gives it right back to Atleti, to Paul, down this right side. Rolls it into the path of Alvarez on the turn. Now Alexander Sorloth lays it off to Alvarez again, rolls it into the box, still in control on the left side. Alvarez works it into the middle. Gallagher keeps it alive now. Llorente to Paul on the far right side. Cuts it back inside now to Llorente. trying to work their way through this Botafogo defence. DePaul's delivery. Sorloth up for the header. Kept alive as Alvarez tried to get a shot off. Now Simeone, but the crowd of shirts gets it away. A nice spring and a counter. Our Botafogo, they're outnumbered. And that was a good challenge back there by Caoimhan Longley, who puts it out for the throw. Again, Julian Alvarez on the turn. And there's nothing in that either. He's trying to claim for another penalty, but he's gone down far too easily there. There's contact, but it's not a penalty. It was the midfielder, Grigori. And it's just not a penalty. Never in a million years. Gone down twice in this game, Julian Alvarez, and on both occasions they're just not penalties. I mean, Atleti are complaining, the bench are complaining, but complain all you like, it's not a penalty. Although, is there VAR? They are checking at VAR. Now, this is a little bit interesting because on my thinking, I didn't think it was a penalty. There was not enough contact whatsoever to bring Julian Alvarez down. That should be what it is all about. And the referee has been surrounded by Botafogo players insisting that it's not a penalty. The referee agreed first off, of course, but the referee is going to have to wait and see. And he's going to be called to the monitor, I believe, here. Well, he's walking around. I thought he was going to be called to the screen, but he's still waiting on a possible VAR call, the referee. Still being surrounded by the Botafogo players, but this long wait, and he is going to be called to the monitor now, the referee. So let's see what he can deliver here. The referee's been called to the monitor to review his initial decision. I don't think it's a penalty, personally. I think it's very theatrical from Julian Alvarez. I mean, I'm not saying Grigori is completely innocent. There is contact, but I don't think it's a penalty. I think it's soft. Checking in the build-up before that. Maybe Sorloth? I don't know what they're checking there. They're checking before, and then this is not enough in it for me. As we're into added time in the first half as well. They had 5 added minutes, but we'll see whatever that means. As the referee comes away from the monitor, here comes the decision. It is a free kick, I believe, to Botafogo, so no penalty. And I think that's the correct decision. The referee standing upon his initial decision after seeing it again. And I think he's completely correct here, the referee. It was very soft. The contact between Grigori and Julian Alvarez, it wasn't anywhere near enough for a penalty. I think the referee had given a foul from Alexander Sorloth initially that is going to see a free kick to Botafogo. So Cesar Ramos very confident in his decision and sticks with the on-field call of no penalty. And I think that's the right call. So additional time in play here. We'll play certainly more than 5 because we've been delayed about 2 minutes, but it is half-time in that other game between Seattle Sounders and PSG. So PSG leading at the break means they are still in second. They stay in second no matter what happens, unless anything changes in this game, that's what I mean. And Atleti still need to win by 3 goals to progress, with PSG winning. But half-time in that other game in Seattle, it is 1-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. So Atleti, as it stands, would be heading out There's still a whole other half to come when it does come. That stands as what a game, though. So fast and dynamic from my perspective. Yeah, neither side can really gain control, and I think it makes it more entertaining. Add a few goals into it, and it's perfect. It's what we love. I don't want to see a boring game. I don't want to see that really defensive-focused game. Both sides are trying to attack. Not with any real great deal of kind of success at the moment from either team, but can't blame the attempts. Here's Conor Gallagher trying to work it into the box again. Well blocked. Or on the edge. Kept alive though. Llorente. DePaul. Looping it in. Headed away in the box there by the Botafogo defence. One back by Atleti again. Barrios. DePaul. DePaul through the line. Sorloth with a heavy touch. And he's kept it in possession as it's worked out to the left-hand side now for Atleti. Going for the deep cross. Again, Barbosa with a header to clear it away. Really trying to apply an extreme amount of pressure now. Or Atleti. They changed the number from 5 to 7 added minutes. So that's what we'll play to, clearly. And Alvarez trying to have a pop shot from the edge of the box. But that one well wide. And we see this moment again. That was no penalty. Yeah, the cross comes in. Sorloth with a little push on the defender. Yeah. Julian Alvarez there. Went down far too easily. It's just never a penalty. So just over 2 minutes to go with the first half. Atleti 0, Botafogo 0. Both sides have had opportunities. Botafogo still probably, in my opinion, the best chance of the game. Savarino against Jan Oblak. Galan. Llorente down the right hand side here for Atleti. Alvarez coming off the right hand side. To Paul. Now a long lay to Galan. Nice little 1-2 with Simeone from Galan, but the cutback was again cleared away, and this time by the captain, Marlon Freitas, for Botafogo. I think there was an issue there. The referee's going to give a free kick, so free kick to Botafogo, something that Rodrigo de Paul wasn't particularly happy with. That was the decision from the referee as John takes the long free kick up the field. Oh, and got a bit hands-on there, Caoimhan Longley against Igor Jesus, but the long clearance was retrieved by Jan Oblak, and now Atleti back in possession. Last minute of the half. Can they steal a goal before the break? Atletico Madrid. Goal that they will so desperately be needing, because it will mean all their work will have to be done in the second half. Simeone trying to cause problems down that left channel, but will get in the corner actually. It had the last touch off a Botafogo defender down that right hand side in Vitinho, so it will be a corner for the last few seconds of the half for Atleti. Try and test the Botafogo defence. One last piece of defending to try and take it to half time. Level pegging, right footed delivery, hooked up in the air in the front post, and John caught it, but it had gone out of play. It doesn't really matter, because there's the half-time whistle. And there it is, half-time here in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl, and it is 0-0. A result and a scoreline that is massively positive to Botafogo, and at the moment a scoreline along with the result elsewhere that is knocking Atletico Madrid out of this competition. Half-time, Atleti 0, Botafogo 0. Big second half to come. We'll analyse the first half when we come back. Welcome back to the FIFA Club World Cup Live here on LFS this evening. Great to have you with us for this one. 5 minutes ago until the second half's underway between Atletico and Botafogo. It's 0-0 at the break, and you got to say, I mean, both sides have tried. Atletico trying a little bit harder than Botafogo because they know what they need to do. Certainly need goals, and they haven't had that yet at Atleti. But yeah, not for the want of trying, but of course that big penalty incident that was not a penalty and rightfully not given by the referee in that first half was the big talking point. But Botafogo had the best chance. As I said, Jefferson Savarino in that first half, one-on-one chance with Jan Oblak, couldn't take it. Good save by Oblak, but Botafogo the best chance of the half. But Atleti trying a little bit harder, and they've no other option but to try at the moment. A reminder for you of what the table looks like and what it means. So it's 0-0 in this game. It is 1-0 to PSG in their game. So that means for the table that Botafogo lead the way. They will top the group as it stands. Quite crazy, they will top the group, having only scored 3 goals in 3 games as it stands, that is. So they will be topping the group with 7 points at the moment. PSG cannot overtake them as long as Botafogo don't lose. PSG are winning at the moment. They're on 6 points. And Atletico Madrid drawing with Botafogo 0-0. They're on 4 points, which will mean they're knocked out of the competition. And Seattle Sounders will be heading out as well, as they don't have a single point on the board. But there is a situation, there is a scenario in which Seattle Sounders could still progress, but it would mean they'd have to beat PSG, and Botafogo would have to beat Atleti, and they would need a goal swing as well. So there's a lot of ands there. There's a lot of things that would have to happen for Seattle Sounders to head through, but it's not impossible for that to be the case, but very unlikely is the right words to use on that front. But it is 0-0 in our game so far, which means it is bad news for, of course, Diego Simeone and his players, because they will be heading out of this tournament early at the moment, which is not particularly nice for them or their players. But also, if Botafogo finish top of this group and they finish in first place and PSG runners-up, of course, remember this group is coupled with Group A, which is Al Ahly, Inter Miami, Palmeiras and Porto. Now, if we go to Group A, who play later, their match day 3 games, if it stays as it is there, PSG would face Palmeiras and Inter Miami would be Botafogo's opponents for the round of 16. Of course, Porto not looking likely to go through there, but they need to win later against Al Ahly and hope that they can get something from the other teams, especially Inter Miami, if they can overtake them. But at the moment, it would be PSG, Palmeiras and Inter Miami against Botafogo that will be the round of 16 setup. But of course, still another half to go here in Group B, and Group A still has to play. So a lot still can happen. But we have a big second half on the horizon here, and Atleti need to get goals. So far, that's so good for Botafogo, who will be topping the table this evening as it stands. We'll be back for the second half between Atleti and Botafogo, and of course Seattle Sounders against PSG as well when we come back. Welcome back to the FIFA Club World Cup live here on LFS. Don't forget though, tomorrow we're back with more Matchday 3 action from one of our select groups, and Group C is tomorrow night's coverage. Auckland City against Boca Juniors, 2 sides Of course, Auckland City already out. Boca Juniors can still go through, but they need some interesting results. And we'll be watching Benfica against Bayern Munich to see both sides can still take top spot. We'll see what comes of that one in that all-European clash. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS. Right, the second half between Atletico Madrid and Botafogo is on the way in a moment. The second half already underway between Seattle Sounders and PSG. It is still 1-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. They started around 2 or 3 minutes ago in that one. It's still PSG who lead by a goal to nil. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening for this one. Do hit that like button because it massively helps us and grows the streams, grows the channel. And if you can help us in doing that, it's free. And thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, let's see what Atleti can do. They know the job. It's pretty simple. You have to win, and you have to win big. But at the moment, they're being held by a solid Botafogo team. And it looks like they're going to make a change here at the break at Atleti. It looked like Antoine Griezmann was getting ready to enter the fray. And maybe his creativity and experience can help them in this second half. As the Botafogo keeper, who so far hasn't had much to contest with, he is just returning to the feed. So Antoine Griezmann is coming on, the Frenchman, for Atletico Madrid. So they are making that half-time change. As here come the Botafogo players. They know, as it stands, no matter what happens elsewhere, they will be topping this group. As long as they avoid defeat tonight, they know that that is the case. Antoine Griezmann on for Conor Gallagher, by the way, so a interesting switch from Diego Simeone. And a switch that could be crucial in trying to deliver a result here for Atletico Madrid. So Antoine Griezmann on to replace Conor Gallagher. Let's see what difference that will make in the second half to Atletico Madrid and their attacks. They will get us underway in a moment. Any time will do. There we go. We're back underway then for this one. It's simple. Atleti need to win by 3 goals or more to head through, with PSG winning elsewhere. Remember, if PSG draw and Atleti win, then PSG would be out. But that PSG goal from Kvaratskhelia is what is keeping them in the safe zone at the moment. Win and they're in no matter what, PSG. Simple for those. In Parisian colours this evening. A little bit more tricky for those in Atleti colours tonight. But they know the task. They know what they need to do to achieve it. Now they need to get it done. Of course, Atleti kicking from right to left in the second half. Botafogo left to right. Whether that makes any sort of change, I don't know, but it might do. Who knows? The Normans. Llorente works it into DePaul. DePaul's pass was intercepted by Barbosa. A nice little link up there between Savarino and Igor Jesus. Savarino for Botafogo. Swinging it round the corner of Vitinho, but the bobble just took it away from the right back of Botafogo there as he tried to break forward. Nice idea, but the bounce of the ball just caught him out, unfortunately. It will be some result if Botafogo could win this one. That will be some performance in the groups to win all 3 games, considering you have 2 European giants in your group. That will be some performance, some result, some outcome from their group stages, Botafogo, if they could win this. And there's no kind of doubts that they have the capabilities to win it. They, as I said, probably had the best chance of the game so far to try and get the lead, so there'll be no doubts that it is a possibility. Atleti worked the ball wide there. Simeone down the left-hand side. Barged there by Barbosa. And it will be a corner to Atleti. Yeah, nice ball down the left side. Simeone made a nice run, and then Barbosa just came across and clattered him. And the ball came off Barbosa last, which will get an Atleti corner here. Julian Alvarez over it. Right-footed, round to the back. John with a punch to clear it away. And bouncing out for an Atleti throw on the far side. It's a good delivery. And a good punch away. Confident punch by the Botafogo keeper to deny Atleti any sort of chance there. Marcus Llorente with a long throw. Flicked on by Sorlot there, but cleared away by Botafogo. Not very far though again. His clearance is getting a little bit short. Griezmann. Rodrigo de Paul trying to poke it through for Griezmann, who couldn't control it. And Botafogo again clearing their lines and trying to get their centre forward, Igor Jesus, in some physical battles. And on that occasion it will just be an Atleti throw as the ball went out of play. It's a good physical battle in this game at the moment. Simeone. De Paul over the top looking for Alexander Sorlot, but again, after the first touch, Barbosa was there, and he was on his own. And there's one back again by Simeone, who again Barbosa was coming right through the back of. Referee plays on as Atleti still have the ball. Griezmann. Antoine Griezmann with an effort. Well blocked. The Normans works it wide. De Paul switches it out to the left hand side. Nice takedown. Galán trying to work it across the box. Nicely blocked. Oh, not very far. Cleared again by Botafogo. The ball comes wide for Alvarez here on the left. Good combinations from Atleti. Much better fluidity. Alvarez. De Paul. Back to Julian Alvarez again. Rodrigo de Paul trying to lay it off to Alvarez into the box, who's laid it off now to Simeone, who rode a challenge and chips the ball round the back, and that's headed behind for a corner. There might have been a penalty claim in there as well, but Simeone wanted to stay on his feet, and that he did. He skipped past Barbosa, but he could have went down and got something out of that. And so Diego Simeone, the head coach, was claiming for it. I've got to say, the centre-back there for Botafogo, Alexander Barbosa, is throwing himself at everything at the moment. And another Atleti corner here. Their fourth corner of the game. Taken short. De Paul returning it to Griezmann. Griezmann's delivery was too deep. And that went out of play. Goal kick. Artur needs to make sure, but it was out of play. So as it stands in Group B, Botafogo and PSG, like they have been all evening, are the two sides that are going through. That's the way it stands. The only way that will change is if Atleti can conjure up a couple of goals here. Simeone. Or if PSG don't win that game. Lovely little turn from Artur there, and he's bursting down the right side. He's got Barrios for company. And he halts his run, Artur, as he was brought down there by Javi Galán. And that's going to be a free kick. And that was a smart play from Artur there. Not to overcommit, not to over-force the run. And he drives back and wins the little cheap free kick that Javi Galán had a little nibble at him at. And he just kind of bundled him over. It's going to be a free kick for Botafogo. Well, this is the thing. You know, Botafogo don't need to do anything, really. They can just be settled with a draw. Obviously, you don't want to sit on that. As the long ball forward here. Nicely held up. Jesus. Couldn't quite get it out of the grasp of Roman Lenormand there. So it's played back to Jan Oblak. Thumping it forward. Flick-on header by Sorlot, but again, intercepted, although that ball from Barbosa was Nowhere near any sort of white shirt. And let's see, win it back again. Just when you think kind of Botafogo get some sort of decent possession, they just hand it right back to Atleti. Madrid having the momentum of this second half so far. 7 minutes or so of the second half gone, and Atleti have been the better side, been the more positive of the two teams. Here's Griezmann off the right hand side, but his fizz ball towards the box was caught by John again, who lays it off into midfield, into space. Lovely little layoff. And now they're on the move here, Botafogo. They've got two wide options. Out to the left-hand side for Igor Jesus, who's come wide there. He's shoved to the ground as he passed the ball back. Gregor. And they work it all the way back to Barbosa again. John. Nice little ball into Artur. Atleti just having to apply a higher press. They've got to. They've got no choice just to commit more bodies. They have to be more aggressive. Nice hold up from Jesus there. A nice give and go, and Jesus trying to run in behind, but Robin Lenormand, or Marcus Llorente, sorry, should have that one covered, and does. Gets it back to Jan Oblak with no real concern there. Atleti need to do just win the ball back and get up the field quickly. Try and catch Botafogo out. So far, they're working it well, but when they get in and around the box, there's just no space to exploit. This is a nice move, though. Alvarez to Galan. Couldn't get the cross in. Blocked again at the near post by Barbosa. Will be another corner. That's what I mean. When they get into the final third, Atleti, there's always a white shirt in the wake and in the way and blocking. They just need to be a little bit quicker with it. Alvarez to take this corner once again. Right-footed. Swung in. Up in the air with a header. And another chance, but John to try and claim it away. Still alive. Simeone couldn't force it through, and it deflects behind for another corner. The Botafogo goalkeeper thought there was a bit of something on there, and a little bit of a scuffle has come about as there's two players on the grounds. That's completely separate. Might have clashed heads or something from that corner. Yeah, they might have just clashed heads and oh, it was the keeper that came punching through that caught the number 32 there, Jair. A little bit of unrest here. I gotta say, Atleti are very stroppy. They're complaining a lot. I mean, half of their substitutes are behind the goal here. Looks like Botafogo might be eyeing up a change in a moment. Rico de Paul in conversation with the referee about something. And there's a Julian Alvarez fan with the Argentina shirt. And here is Julian Alvarez to take this corner. Whips it in again, flicked on at the near post, and all the way through. Did it take a touch from a Botafogo defender? Alex Tellez says he didn't touch it, but the officials disagree. Or they did disagree initially, but they have now changed that decision. It is a goal kick. Initially they gave a corner there, but they changed it pretty quickly, the officials. See it again. Yeah, Tellez didn't get a touch on that. And he was begging the referee not to give a corner, and the referee didn't. John with a long clearance, but possession easily retrieved by Atleti. As I said, Botafogo eyeing up a change. They're going to make that substitution in a moment. Well, so far, Atleti have had 4 shots in the second half. They had only 7 in the whole of the first half. 4 shots, 1 on target in the second. So they are applying more pressure. They've actually had a lot more possession than they did in the first. 61% of the possession so far in the second half. So they're in more control Our Diego Simeone's side is Griezmann there, tried to cross, but too close once again to the Botafogo keeper. He comfortably claims. Barbosa with a long kick up the field, but again, those long balls from Botafogo are just being kind of swept up by Atleti every time we kick them and we play them. I think maybe the Botafogo coach just trying to react to his side being a little bit deeper and a little less on the ball in the second half, and maybe sitting a bit deeper than he would have liked them to be. And that's probably in respect that Atleti are having a bit more control. Lovely little 1-2 there between DePaul and Gallant, and a nice reverse ball. Finds DePaul again, trying to work it through. Too many passes, and the chance comes and goes for Atleti as Botafogo want to try and create something here, but they try and be too cute with it and are dispossessed. Rodrigo DePaul trying to charge forward into Alexander Sorloth, whose first touch hasn't been great tonight, and he made that one work. Alvarez trying to swing it out wide to Gallant, who keeps it in play, rolls it in behind for Simeone, who just about got past his man, but he ran out of room and crossed the byline. Goal kick. So change incoming then for Botafogo. Number 25, Alan, is coming off, and they're going to be replaced by the number 28, Newton. So Newton on for Alan. Newton, the 25-year-old, joined Botafogo in January of last year. Was on loan actually at one of those at a Brazilian side, and ended his loan at the end of last year, and has been back at Botafogo since. The 25-year-old midfielder was on the bench in the 2-1 win over Seattle, but did make an appearance in the 1-0 win over PSG. Here's a chance in behind for Griezmann. Tried to sneak it in the near post, but Sean had it covered again. Antoine Griezmann has looked a little bit more of a threat. Atleti, since he's come onto the field, more direct running, and this time Jean had it covered, but Griezmann hit it wide anyway. He's been an interesting addition to this game for Atleti. And they made another change of their own there in the last minute or so. Atleti, Angel Correa is on, replacing Giuliano Simeone. So Simeone off, replaced by Angel Correa. So more direct for Diego Simeone's team. There's another goal in that game between Seattle Sounders and PSG, and it is another Paris Saint-Germain goal to their dominant zone game, which makes Atleti's task more clear. The chip ball across, Sorloth's header is directed wide. It wasn't Julian Alvarez, it was Sorloth. Good delivery down the right hand side, ball back across and then headed well wide. That was a good chance. And that was a chance, again, not taken by Alexander Sorloth, who's been a little bit wasteful in this competition so far. And on that occasion, he couldn't do it once again. Oh, Botafogo trying to break forward down this left side. That's gone all the way through for a goal kick. They certainly still have that threat in this game, Botafogo. They certainly do. That second goal for PSG, by the way, was scored by Ashraf Hakimi. So it is 2-0 to PSG. And just to reiterate, the table doesn't change positionally. Stays as it is. PSG are still going through as it stands with 6 points. Botafogo topping the table with 7 points because they're currently drawing with Atleti, so nothing in that front changes. The only way it would change is if Atleti start winning. Then they could make a difference. But remember, if they start winning, it's not PSG that are at mercy. It is Botafogo that are at risk of being knocked out of the competition if Atleti can start conjuring up some good goals here. And any goals of any real note, because the time is starting to run out. And their task is becoming harder and harder by the minute. And by each attack that doesn't end in a goal, the time and the chances are diminishing one by one for Atletico Madrid. And Botafogo are going to eye up another double change here, or 2 changes. They made that single change a moment or 2 ago. Atleti have a free kick down the left side, which Antoine Griezmann is standing over. Left-footed delivery from Griezmann. Another first header from Atleti as the ball comes back out and struck high and wide from distance. I think it was Rodrigo de Paul that had the effort. In the end, again, there is Atleti fans inside the Rose Bowl Stadium tonight, but they won't be too happy, and they realise what's going to happen as it stands. Unless they have already realised, and they're maybe just enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the football. So Jean to take this goal kick. And kicked it straight out of play. And now we're going to see changes afoot. 2 for Botafogo, 1 for Atleti. So the double substitution incoming for the Brazilian side. Right, so Alex Telles and Savarino are coming off, and Quibano and Montaro are coming on. Or Montoro, is it? Montoro. So Montoro and Quibano are coming on, and they have replaced Savarino and Alex Telles. Atleti also made a substitute there as well. Rodrigo de Paul has been replaced by Koke. So de Paul off for Koke. Galan. Koke. For the switch ball. Finds it out wide to Marcus Llorente. They need to move quickly here at Atleti. Llorente's ball into the box. Just a yard or 2 ahead of Sorloth. And couldn't keep it in there. Was Antoine Griezmann. Goal kick. Thought he just about kept it in, but it had crossed the byline. And Botafogo, they haven't been in a rush all night, but why should they be in a rush? They know, as it stands, they will top the table no matter what happens. So they're in comfort position at the moment. They're not in any worry about anything at the moment. Remember, if they start losing, they wouldn't take top spot. If, say, Atleti win by a goal to 0 and PSG win, PSG would take top spot and Botafogo would finish second. Which could change things depending on who they play in the round of 16. That's the way it works. Of course, the winners of this group will play the runners-up of Group A, and the runners-up of this group will play the winners of Group A. That's the way it works. That's a nice move down the left-hand side here for Botafogo. They'll try and steal a win if they want. And there's a chance! Oh, good effort from Igor Jesus. And a good save from Jan Oblak. And my goodness me. That was a good move down that left-hand side. What a delivery this is. And a touch and a shot from Igor Jesus. Another very good save from Jan Oblak. I gotta say, despite not having to win this game, Botafogo have had the 2 best chances of the night. And they have a corner here on this left-hand side. First corner of the second half for the Brazilians, who've had a quarter of the amount of shots that Atleti have had tonight. They've probably had two of the best ones. Here's another corner, delivered in, and the header is right at the goalkeeper from Artur on that occasion. It was a great delivery, and Artur at the back post, and was headed it right at Jan Oblak. Well, a real upset it would be if Atleti were to lose this. That would be a real dampener for them. If they try and work it down the right again, Llorente skips past the challenge. Llorente again, trying to work it around his defender. But he's grappling and rustling at it there, Barbosa. And it's going to be a free kick. He said it wasn't a handball, but the free kick's been given against him for handball. As he was on the ground, doing a little line dance. A kind of a floor dance with the ball. Barbosa, I said he commits into everything. And he was trying to grapple at Llorente as well there. I mean, he's trying to hold his legs. I mean, whatever works, but on that occasion you've given away a silly foul and a silly free kick in a dangerous area. A chance for Atleti. This has to be a good chance. This has to be something that can ignite them for the final quarter of this game. They have to find something, and soon. Alvarez over the free kick, right-footed, swings it round the corner, and the connection from Griezmann goes right across the goal and out the other ends. And is that a symbol of it's maybe just not Atleti's day today? See it again, the delivery, sneaky, across the near post, and a Griezmann connection, but can't get any sort of clean connection to take it towards goal. They've won it back high up here. Griezmann, Sorloth, back to Griezmann with a heavy touch, which the defence of Botafogo snatch upon and clear. Only as far as the left-hand side with Galan, and he's dispossessed and given away cheaply by Artur though. Koke, Llorente charging down the right side, can't get it past the substitute there, the number 66 for Botafogo, Caoimhan. Will be a throw-in. Just over 20 minutes to go. Atletico Madrid 0, Botafogo 0. Atleti need to win by 3 goals or more to progress, with PSG winning at the moment. But with Botafogo's rigid defence and Atletico's real lack of dynamism in the final third. That's a nice delivery, but not anywhere near Alexander Sorloth again. And cleared away once more. It's just the stubbornness of this Botafogo defence. And that was how they beat PSG. They were strong defensively, and then they got a great chance up the other end, which they took. And they've had 2 very good chances tonight where they could have the lead themselves. So they're not being completely overrun in this game, Botafogo. They've had their fair share. Oh. Just about getting away with that one, Atleti. They were sloppy there, and Jan Oblak almost overcommitted. So they haven't got the ball back. Botafogo with the possession. Vitinho out on this right-hand side. 20 minutes to go. Vitinho driving forward. Out wide it goes to Artur. Only little turn by Vitinho, and he rolls it in behind. Igor Jesus was the target, but good block by Caoimhan Longley. Again, the Atleti possession comes breaking down, and Igor Jesus tries to feed it through for the runner, but he couldn't find him. Botafogo are all of a sudden having the good attacking chances. Artur down the right, but that through ball to Vitinho was nicely covered and won back. Koke trying to send Alexander Sorloth on the break. He's got Sorloth down the right side. Looks at a cross and a challenge. A little late there on Alvarez, I believe. And that's going to be a free kick. And not Alvarez. Apologies, Angel Correa was the one that was fired. That's a crunching challenge by Barbosa. I gotta say, Alexander Barbosa has thrown himself into every... He's not afraid of a slide tackle. I can tell you that much. So far it's been successful, but all it takes is the one be mistimed and you get a colour card that you particularly don't want. High risk, high reward though. In the top level of football, as there's a Botafogo player down, so that's why we have a stoppage, but the referee is alerting the Atletico players that the clock isn't running. As Atletico are quick to say that this could be time wasting, but the referee, I'm sure, right on top of it. They did make another change there. Sorry, they didn't make that change. Another change. Apologies, it was an earlier change that I was looking at on my screen. It was the way it was formatted there. It was a bit weird. But both sides have made 3 changes. Well, let's have a look and see kind of who can play who and when they will play, really, for the knockouts. So the knockout stages get underway on Saturday, of course, for our first day of action in the round of 16. And the winner of Group A will play the runners-up of this group in the first game in the round of 16. That's at 5 PM UK time on Saturday evening. And then the winners of Group B will play the runners-up of Group A on Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock. Lincoln Financial Field is the venue for the first game, and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta is the venue for the second game. We'll tell you about that in a moment, because Atleti have a free kick here. Right-footed delivery from Koke, brought down in the box. Can they get a shot off? It's laid out for Galan. He works it out wide. Griezmann. Now Barrios. He finds Galan. Galan trying to cross. Directed towards Jean, and the goalkeeper for Botafogo again, calm and composed in his box, and grabs the ball comfortably. Tried to kick it long there, but Clement Longley was in his way. So we're going to have a little cooling break here at the moment, are we? We are. So just over 15 minutes to go in this one. A cooling break will now commence, so players can, and the officials of course, can get some fluids and rehydrate in the heat. And it's a quarter of an hour that Atleti need to have an unbelievable attacking display to head through. It is minimising, minute by minute, their chances. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. We have another game, group games for you tomorrow, another doubleheader. Benfica against Bayern Munich is tomorrow at 8. That is our Group C coverage. And of course, Auckland City against Boca Juniors is the other game in that group that we'll be keeping a close eye on. But those are the top 2 that we're watching. Benfica, Bayern Munich heading into that game tomorrow. Both can still claim top spot, and we'll see what comes of that. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS. Still 2-0 in that other game, by the way, between PSG and Seattle, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Kvaratskhelia and Hakimi with the 2 goals for PSG, who are looking comfortable. But remember, won't take top spot PSG at the moment, because Botafogo are still getting a point out of this game against Atleti. So that is what's keeping Botafogo top of the table. And they know, Botafogo, that as long as they avoid defeat, they will be topping the table. And on 2 occasions, they could have been taking the lead. Savarino with the first chance in the first half, and then the second chance, Igor Jesus forcing a good save out of Jan Oblak. Don't forget to vote for player of the match at play.fifa.com/POTM on the website, so you can vote for your player of the match, who you think is the best player of the game. And the result will be announced around about the final, just before the final whistle this evening. So do get your votes in. I'll leave that link up on the screen for you for a couple of minutes. Mr. Latino in the chat is an Atletico supporter. Well, at the moment, Atletico will be knocked out of this competition. They need to win by 3 goals or more to progress at this minute, and that's not happening. If that was to be the case, as it stands, they would knock out their opponents this evening. There's another clearance by Jair, the centre-back for Botafogo. And the Botafogo defence have been fantastic all night, I gotta say. They have been really rigid, really stubborn, really composed, really disciplined in their play. Griezmann with a delivery. Sorloth again. Little bit of space, but he's absolutely flunked that one over the bar. And on that occasion, they did find a little gap. The Atleti attack in the Botafogo defence. But again, Alexander Sorloth is having a torrid time up front. He's had so many opportunities in this tournament and hasn't been able to take any of them. Still without a goal. He's missed 3 big chances so far, according to the stats. Alexander Sorloth across the tournament so far. That's in the previous 2 games that he has missed 3 big chances, which is quite mental. He's missed 1 big chance tonight, so 4 big chances missed across 2 and a bit games. Almost 3 games for Alexander Sorloth. And who knows, that could have been the difference between progressing and not progressing for Atleti. Free kick here on the right hand side. Antoine Griezmann over it. Left-footed delivery into the box. Again headed away by the Botafogo defence. It was Igor Jesus that was in there doing his defensive duties. The centre forward. And getting it away from danger. Galan for Atleti. Nice little turn down the left-hand side here from Barrios. Not very many teammates in his vicinity. He works it to Koke, and now out to the right-hand side. Lenormand's with a chip ball into the box, flicked on by Sorloth, and again, this time by Correa. They're not really making anything work again, Atleti, no way through. And Botafogo might have the advantage on the break. Not a great challenge there. Still alive here. Artur. And the through ball was just overhit. Atleti weren't in a good position there. They committed so many bodies forward that Botafogo, if they could have conjured up a good moment there, could have been in. But they couldn't get their passing right on that occasion, the Brazilians. The Brazilian side. Galan again trying to break through bodies. And dispossession initially, but they've won it back now, Atleti. Into the box it comes. Can't really find anything at the moment. Again, they're sitting in shape at the moment, the Botafogo defenders, and they're just no way through for Atleti. Just a lack of creativity, a lack of dynamism. They've run out of ideas, it seems, and now Botafogo on the move, and they're in here. Here's a chance on the spin. Can he get the shot off? He can, but it's off target from Montaro. That's a good opportunity. Alvaro Montoro. Nice little reverse spin on the ball, and the angle was against him, really. Good closing from Marcos Llorente, but decent again. An effort, and they get the corner out of it, Botafogo. I can't show the screen. We're not allowed, obviously. That would be a violation. Corner for Botafogo, though they can still win this. They can still take all maximum points out of this group. Right-footed delivery from the corner. Back post again, the header is even further off target from Grigori this time than it was the first time round. And a goal kick. And I think the referee was going to give a free kick anyway, as Galan was challenged unfairly, according to the referee in the box. So a free kick. PSG winning 2-0 in Seattle against the Sounders at the moment. And with this still continuing to be a goalless draw at the moment, it means it would be Botafogo who would top the group and PSG, who would be runners-up. Unless Atleti can change this. Ball across and another shot. And this time wide again from Atleti. Look at the many players. They commit forward. It was Angel Correa down this right-hand side, bursting into the box, and then it was Griezmann at the near post. Tried to poke it, and he flicked it wide. The Frenchman. Those moments. If it was your day, they would go all for you, those moments, but it's just not Atleti's day, and that's why they keep going wide and not on target. But again, as I said, they've just not been good enough today, Atleti, in the final third. That's a lovely through ball here for Botafogo. Down the right-hand side, they get the ball into the box. There was an effort, but the cutback was too close to Marcus Llorente, who had it covered. And now Barrios trying to break away for Atleti down the left. Here comes Alvarez. Trying to spin it round the corner, but Barbosa had it covered. And again, forcing the issue now, Atleti, and it's just not working. Freitas. Montoro now. 7 minutes of the 90 to go, plus the additional time. Atleti 0, Botafogo 0. And I think they're starting to realise now, Atletico Madrid and their players, I think their chance of progressing is disappearing across the horizon. It's not impossible, but it is very improbable at the moment for Atleti, as they're going to make a double change. So Alexander Sørloth is coming off. And Nahul Molina is coming on. And the other substitute, I'll tell you in a moment, when I can tell you that, as Jean knocks it away for Botafogo. Barrios is the other player to make way, and he's been replaced by Samuel Lino. So Lino and Molina on, replacing Sørloth and Barrios. Here's Galan, trying to find it into the box, and the deflection made it a little awkward for Jean, but he did well to get a hold of it before it went behind for the corner. That's a nice through ball here down the left. They're trying to win this now, our Botafogo. And here's Montoro. He's got round his man. He's into the box. He spun back, which kind of hampered him there. It's kept alive, though, by Botafogo. Down the left they come. Keeping the ball moving between the lines. I've got to say, Botafogo today have been very impressive. Reminder, they will, if they top this group, as long as they avoid defeat, they will top this group, remember. But if they do, they will play the runners-up of Group A in the third game of the round of 16 on Sunday. And PSG, who would finish as the runners-up, if it stays as it is, they would play the winners of Group A, which will be decided later this evening, and they would play on Saturday. So as it stands, Botafogo are heading to Atlanta for the round of 16. PSG will be heading to Philadelphia, to the Lincoln Financial Field, unless, here's a chance, into the box, Correa, shot blocked. Alvarez trying to get something, carve it out, the shot, the goal! There it is! Antoine Griezmann, couldn't miss chance, and that could really change things in this group. Atleti lead 1-0, and that could steal top spot off Botafogo to PSG, or could it even better give Atleti a chance of maybe still having a chance to go through. Atletico Madrid 1, Botafogo 0, and Antoine Griezmann the man to get it. Yeah, look at this. They work the ball into the box. It's Alvarez. He just doesn't give up on it. He fires it across the 18-yard box. It bounces out, finding Griezmann at the back post, who finds it into an empty net. It's an unmissable chance. And that is what it has taken for Atleti to take the lead that they've been desperately trying to find. But remember, it is still not enough to see them through. As it stands, Botafogo wouldn't be topping the table. They would still be second. PSG would be top. And Atleti would still be going out. So categorically, it still means that the same two teams will still be going through. And maybe claim top spot again for Botafogo. A draw would do that. Or a win, obviously. But Atleti winning at the moment means Botafogo would be second in the table on goal difference. And Atleti would be going out on goal difference. That is how tight it is in this group. It is quite unreal how it is unfolding. I'll show you the updated table here. As you can see, Group B, P on your screen. That is live. That is what's happening at the moment. That is what this result and the result elsewhere means, as PSG are winning elsewhere. But remember, then the PSG have won. There's the confirmation. They have won. It's 2-0. It's finished there between PSG and Seattle. So Seattle are out. PSG are through. However, will they finish first or second? That is what's still on the line for PSG. And they're watching this game. If Botafogo draw or win, then they will take top spot. But if Atleti win by less than 3 goals, Botafogo would still progress but would finish second. If Atleti were to score 3 or more and win by 3 or more, then they would be going through at the expense of Botafogo, who would be going out. But as it stands, Botafogo would still be going through on goal difference. And goal difference would separate the top 3 in this group. Incredibly tight on the final day here. Gallant trying the cross. Blocked. Will be a corner. 6 additional minutes, by the way, at the end of the 90 here for Atleti. Can they find 2 goals in 6 minutes that can secure progression to the round of 16? Anything less than that, and they are out. It's that simple as the corner cleared away at the front post. A little bit lackluster. Correa chipping it round the corner. Koke trying to lift it into the box, but easily caught by Jean, the Botafogo keeper. Cheap giveaway there from the Botafogo defence. They don't want to entice Atletico here. And that's Quabano again putting it out for the throw to Atleti. We need to move quickly. Griezmann back into midfield. Koke down the right side comes Llorente. Now Griezmann again in the box. Griezmann across, trying to find Correa, blocked. And away, Koke wins it back. Llorente trying the cross. And that's deflected. Another corner for Atleti. They're trying their best here. But Botafogo's stubborn defence is holding out for the moment. Right-footed delivery into the box. Up in the air it goes from the header. Not cleared away cleanly. Lino will get the efforts. And that shot is right at Jean, who will claim. That's a good effort from Samuel Lino. And a good save by Jean. And Botafogo are not trying to sit deep. When they get under the ball, they're trying to get forward and maybe rescue a draw here. If they can. That will be some result. That will be some turnaround. That will be some outcome. If they could get a draw out of this. It would mean that it would confirm, obviously, Atletico's departure from the tournament, and it would claim top spot for Botafogo. So there is ample reason to try and find it, but also risk reward. Remember, commit too many bodies forward and you give Atletico a chance to try and find a second goal in this one, as they certainly don't want to do, because they certainly would just rather qualify Botafogo, by which any means. And overall, let's not forget that first and second, it's basically just deciding where you're going to be heading to next round and who you'll be playing. In Group A, no game is going to be easy. It's a cross into the box. Griezmann had an effort, blocked again. It's Alvarez. Can he sneak one out? It's Griezmann around the corner. It's still not away as it's pumped behind for another corner to Atleti as they try to scramble it away, Botafogo. They could only put it behind for another corner. 2.5 minutes to go. They need 2 goals still, Atleti. Griezmann's delivery. Away at the front post and away again as it comes into the box. All the way out. Lino will pick it up. A wee little bit of skill. Works it inside to Correa. Angel Correa tried the effort. Charged down and now I might want to counter-attack here. It's Igor Jesus. He's got a bit of help. They're not in a major hurry to spring the counter there on that occasion, Botafogo. And they'll just work it back to Barbosa. Now Jair. Down the right hand side it comes, and that's a little bit of a late challenge by Galan, and that's going to be a free kick to Botafogo. Rodriguez there winning it. So it looks like they're going to be going through. No matter what now. But can they scramble an equaliser to maybe steal top spot? That is still possible. And there's going to be a yellow card for Artur, I believe. There's the ball forward for Botafogo up the field. Can they get one chance at maybe sneaking an equaliser? They're going to the corner flag, so they're not really worried about top spot. They've won a throw-in, though. Last minute of the 6. And Grigori, it was the one that was yellow carded, so that means he will miss the round of 16 game for Botafogo. And all that matters at the moment is that they will be progressing. A missed opportunity for Atletico Madrid. That game against PSG, the margin of defeat is what beats them. If they'd have lost 2-0, they would be heading through here. If they lost 1-0, they would be heading through. But they lost 4. And by that, they're going out. If they'd have beaten Seattle Sounders by more, they would have been heading through. It's goal difference that is going to beat them on this occasion. The 6 minutes are up. How long is left on the referee's watch? There's no more time. Botafogo are through. They have qualified. And look at their fans reacting inside the Rose Bowl. A wonderful night for them. Despite defeat on the night, they did enough over the 2 previous games to find a way through, including that incredible victory over PSG on match day 2. Despite a win tonight at Atleti, the damage was done when they lost by a fair margin in match day 1. It was goal difference that beat them out tonight. If they'd have won by 3 goals, they would be heading through. But just the 1 for Atleti tonight. And that is what sees them out of this competition. Botafogo are the team that find a way through, alongside Paris Saint-Germain, who top the group. It's goal difference that is what separates the top 3 in this group. How incredible and how entertaining it was from start to finish. If the final score from this one in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, it is finished Atletico Madrid 1, Botafogo 0. And in Seattle, it is finished Seattle Sounders 0, PSG 2. So, that's what this means then. Group B looks like this. After 3 games apiece, all done and dusted, PSG top the group, 6 points, plus 5 goal difference. Botafogo second, 6 points, plus 1 goal difference. And look at that, how agonising for Atletico Madrid. 6 points, but a minus 1 goal difference. 2 goal swing was the difference between Atleti going through and going out. Seattle Sounders finished bottom without a single point on the board. Incredible how this game and this table and this group has concluded. Wonderful. And we absolutely loved it. And these two, PSG and Botafogo, will find out their opponents a little later on when, as you can see it there above you, above Group B's table. Group A takes place a little later in the evening. Porto take on Al Ahly, and Inter Miami take on Palmeiras in that one. And there you go. We will see who plays who. Remember the winners. So PSG will face the runners-up of Group A, and Botafogo will face the winners of Group A. PSG will be heading to Atlanta. They will be heading to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They will play on Sunday evening, or Sunday afternoon, US time, Sunday evening, UK time. And Botafogo will play first, and they will face the winners of Group A on Saturday afternoon, and that's in Philadelphia. Right. That is it from us this evening. Atleti out, Botafogo and PSG through. PSG topping the group this evening. More of this action from another group. Group C is our focus tomorrow night on match day 3. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, as Auckland take on Boca Juniors. Auckland already out. Boca Juniors can still qualify if results go their way, as we see Benfica take on Bayern Munich. Both can still top the group as well. So a lot can still come on Group C tomorrow. Join us for that one tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed it with us this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. PSG and Botafogo are through as the top two, but Atleti out by agonising goal difference. Good night.